Welcome to the Business of Apps podcast. Good news, the winter is finally over. And I'm sure you've missed the warmth just as much as I have. Today, I'm thrilled to share with you another special episode featuring one of the discussion panels we hosted last December during the App Promotion Summit Berlin. The panel covers a wide range of topics, including user acquisition strategies, incrementality and ROI measurement, retargeting and re-engagement strategies, and more. The panel was hosted by Bob Hollanders, Head of Sales and Account Management EMEA and US at Appier. We were fortunate to have representatives from game developer Vuga, language learning platform Babel, SaaS Appier, and app analytics at Just on the panel. Without any further ado, let's go.
Thanks everyone for joining. My name is Bobby Hollanders. I'm from Appier. I lead the business teams in EMEA and US. And today we have a very exciting session. We are talking about winning formulas in UA. And we're lucky to have Vuga, Bubble, Adjust, and Appier as we're hosting ourselves as well. So I'm going to introduce everybody a little bit, and then everybody's going to sit down, and we're going to run through 3 questions and hopefully have a very insightful discussion. If you have any dying questions from the audience, we'll try to keep that at the end. Unless it gets really boring, then I might get to you guys, but hopefully that's not going to be the case. So we're going to start off with Pascal. Pascal is from Bubble. He is a seasoned marketing professional with extensive experience in performance marketing, media activation, and digital campaign management for over 10 years. He's currently at Bubble, and Pascal has also had key roles at Zalando, Yahoo, and other global brands, and driving a lot of innovative UA strategies. So Pascal, come sit next to me. You're the first one up. Thank you. And then we have for Victoria. She's a dynamic marketing professional with deep expertise in app marketing, performance optimization, and global growth strategies. She currently holds the position as performance marketing team lead at Vuga, and she's also excelled in key roles at Tier, Mobility, Floki, Tandem, driving impactful UA campaigns. So please welcome Victoria. And then we have Jansu with over 10 years of experience in digital marketing. She is currently the head of sales of the Western Europe and Adjust. And she's known for her data-driven approach, a diverse background spanning in marketing strategy, performance leadership, and publisher relationships. And her expertise are leveraging analytics and insights to drive impactful UA campaigns and foster strong relationships with partners across the EMEA region. So welcome, Jansu. Thank you. And then we have Karst, who is also my teammate. Karst has been with us for 2 years. He has extensive experience in different ad tech roles in Google, Newzoo, and he currently leads our non-gaming business development team here at Appier. So welcome, Karst. Cool. So we're going to try to keep it as flowing as possible. Everybody is able to kind of share what they're doing, and I'll try to go from left to right. So I think for everybody that's in ad tech, 2024 has been a special year, I would say. A lot of things has happened. So what we want to start off with is kind of what has 2024 has meant for you. What kind of surprises have you seen? Appier yourself is an AI company. Well, we've all seen the boom of AI. I think there's more AI companies than Bitcoin companies right now. So it's definitely an emergent topic. So I want to start off with Victoria and kind of ask her, what has been your best practices in 2024? Oh, yeah.
Yes, so I would say for me personally, it was a challenging year because it's my first year changing from non-gaming to gaming. I also see it's quite a challenging year for the industry, and including Vuga. From the beginning of the year, we have been seeing surprisingly high CPI, and it didn't really change after that. So I would say while I just joined the team, when I was still trying to figure out everything from gaming side and also getting to know all the 10, 20 partners I never worked with from the non-gaming side before, including Appier. I also have to very quickly come up with a new plan together with the team to react to the situation. Yeah, so I would say in the end, There wasn't really one thing I can say, okay, that is the answer. That is one thing we turn it on and everything changed and we can sit back and we relax. It didn't happen, but it's really more about the testing strategy. So this year we try many new things. We try new creative direction. We onboarded many new partners. We also put a lot of effort into retargeting to make it work. Since our biggest engine journey has been 7 years old, so we do know that it's important to utilize, to work on those existing and trend users. Yeah, so I would say the key is really not to wait. You really have a sustainable testing plan. You test, you make a conclusion, you kill it or you keep it, and then move on to the next. Yeah. So I would say it's really important to just keep your plan flexible, including your budget, and also react very fast.
Maybe to follow up a little bit on that, how do you decide to test? Like, there's so many different options that you can do. What kind of priorities do you set on picking the right test for you and your team?
So I would say, like, first, when we are thinking about what to test, it's first gathering all the peer knowledge to really listen to what is working in the industry, what is not. I think compared to previous years, that when things are easier or things are going well by itself, you don't really have the mindset of, okay, we really have to, like, exchange and really to contact either the competitor or peers in the industry or other our mother company, but also to kind of be more humble, to be honest, to really try things out. And I think about what to test, you need to have like a criteria to understand what's important for you. For example, whether this partner, this strategy or work, this tool work for a certain market you are strong with, or whether it fits your target audience or your business cycle or monetization as well. Yeah, so I think it's also not like, okay, you get all the ideas, you test everything. You need to have like criteria. Then you kind of rank, okay, the most promising plan to the least promising plan. Then you kind of do it in a 6-week cycle for us. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. Pascal, similar question to you. For you, what do you say when you look at 2024? What have been the key lessons, best practices for you this year?
For Babel, 2024, when it comes to programmatic mobile, was quite successful. But to answer that question, I'm going to go back to 200 BC. No, I'm kidding. We started actually the collaboration in 2023. It was the first time like really starting to test the mobile programmatic, and Appia was like, among the first one partner, and we didn't have much partner back then, 2 or 3, and we're still in the testing phase. Like here and there, creative, we didn't have that much room when it comes to creative test. We started scaling a little bit toward the end of 2023 when we saw the good result in terms of CPO and ROIs getting a bit better. And then we decided, like in 2024, we really want to go big. We say like, okay, we didn't have a proper strategy when it comes to testing, but we really wanted to work closely with our MMP adjust. We wanted to work more closely with onboard quite a lot of partners, some with success, some with not much success, and we also wanted to nurture the historic partner. And we wanted to work more closely with the legal team, with creative team, work closely with everybody actually. Then we have more room to test when it comes to the creative. Actually, it was one of our biggest success this year. We really changed our mindset when it comes to having more engaging creative with, because before it was quite static and not appealing, our video, because we didn't paying too much attention on that. And then in 2024, we work a lot with the creative team to provide a lot of engaging, trying gamifying creative. Like we're testing a puzzle, we're testing quiz, and that show crazy good results. And actually something we want to keep doing for next year. So yes, that was the strategy that was main of the success for in 2020 and 2024. And also we're testing a lot of, we start using the paid social creative that was working super well as well. And then at Baba, we do quite a lot of TV spot. So that was actually a good strategy as well, because actually as the TV team and the legal team, if we can use this TV promote, adapt them to the mobile, and they show super good result. And I think we use them for, yes, almost a year, until the right was gone. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, then I kind of want to go to Jansu because you at Adjust have the overview. So we just have Wooga coming from the gaming perspective, Bubble more from the non-gaming app perspective. How do you see the market changed over in 2024? Compared to 5 years ago, it's radically changed. But for you, from a higher up perspective, what do you see?
When we look back at how UA has changed over the past 5 years, I think the transformation was quite dramatic, I would say. Back then, everything was super straightforward, good old days. So we were able to work with clean, actionable data. There wasn't any challenges. The data was visible, readily available. But there were different challenges, right? Like maybe we didn't have this data visibility challenges. We have this granular data wasn't fragmented, but at the same time, there wasn't AI, there wasn't automation, so everything was super manual, and it required lots of manual efforts. Like I would say UA managers, they were the powerhouse to drive a higher LTV, ROAS with this manual bid and budget adjustments, and it's quite time consuming, I would say. And fast forward to the future, we are talking about nowadays this AI-powered tools. They are becoming super big, campaign automation, incrementality, and also ad networks. They are backed up by quite fancy algorithms right now. Like everything is optimized, targeted ROAS and everything. So it doesn't require that much manual adjustments, I would say. And incrementality is becoming super accessible for everyone. So you can test it if it's really bringing incremental value or cannibalizing organic traffic. So attribution, it's always there for short-term optimization strategy, but in the midterm, are you investing in the channels bringing the real value? So I would say overall, these challenges also kind of opportunities to push us to innovate something new. Like with these privacy challenges, we have created predictive models which are becoming super important. And I want to share one story. Like I was a user acquisition manager 8-9 years ago, and for a food delivery company, we were creating a super primitive predictive metric in order to estimate the order value every day. Which we were considering like lots of external factors like weather forecasts, big tournaments, big games. Although it's quite primitive, but it was working quite well actually, but it was requiring a lot of like work, analysis, research, and right now, like it's crazy to think about like predictive metrics. It's all AI powered. You don't have to think about that, and marketing mix modeling. And now you can do this long-term strategic planning. You can even incorporate like offline, online activities. So just thinking about like how much progress we had like in the last 5 years, it's quite crazy. And I still think that like these challenges and changes, they are pushing us towards to thrive in this new era of mobile marketing.
Cool. And when you look at last year and when you talk to existing clients or new clients, what is kind of the main question that you see coming back from a Adjust perspective?
I think the hot topic is incrementality, that's for sure. And campaign automation, creative automation. I think automation in general, like it's enabling us work smarter, not harder. And marketing mix modeling, everybody's experimenting right now. They are trying to find the right way to incorporate this MMM to their marketing strategy. And predictive metrics. Predictive metrics, in the beginning, we were thinking of it was just a solution for this privacy regulations, but at the same time, it gives you a lot of competitive advantage, not only for iOS, but for Android as well. So, yeah, I would say this new next-gen measurement strategies we call it's a quite big request or the hot topic everybody is bringing up.
Yeah, I think we at Appier face the same. A lot of times, the main question that we get: how are you more incremental than your competitor? So maybe, Kars, you're on the
especially for retargeting.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
You're on the front line in a lot of these battles. Like, how do you explain the best UA practices from last year, and what do you say to clients on how they should look at UA?
Yeah, great question. From my perspective, so just to give a bit of background, so personally, I work with a lot of different clients, really across every single vertical. But if I would say for looking from Appier's perspective in terms of like what kind of key kind of questions come back, it's quite similar to what the Just is facing, and I think it's fair, it's also logical for the time we're in right now. So from a UA point of view, I say one is it's been AI, and AI is of course it's logical it's in some way because it's so new. But I think lots of us we couldn't really have expected how quick it would grow, and how at our fingertips it's really become a partner for us. It's much more than a tool right now, and I think that's also one of the cool things that I see that when working at Appier, I get a lot of the clients like questions like what we're doing now in this mobile privacy age, right? How can you still target very effectively? And how is AI playing a crucial role in that? And at least what I can tell from Appier's point of view is what we do is a lot. So we're, of course, relying on less and less data. So we use more and more contextual data. And it is very important, even more than before, to learn from interactions with creative. It's more important to understand user flows in very detail. What kind of like specific app events, right, drive really that user growth towards high lifetime value customers. Because in the end, what we do a lot is trying to understand who are the most valuable customers for you, which drive the biggest profits, which are the brand advocates, right, that very much help your brands grow. And contextual data together with all the interactions is how we can teach the AI in the best kind of way. But how quick it's been going, it's very interesting to see. I would say the second thing, going back to Kansu, is incrementality. Because when technology goes quicker, right, you also get that urge for control. I think one thing what has helped clients for us this year, or what we found, because incrementality is a complex topic, right? It's very complex because especially the larger media mix you have, it's very hard to really define what is actually driving the purchase, what's actually driving your subscription. So we started with more and more run incrementality tests, and especially Ghostbit is one that we've been testing a lot. It's ultimately a very efficient, simple way where you show a specific audience creatives and others you don't. And we've seen for clients very good performance from that. So I would say that are the two kind of questions that keep coming back in 2024.
Cool. Yeah, I think that the landscape is constantly evolving, and it's difficult to keep up. Whenever I hear new people joining the industry, I think the speed of new developments is something that they have difficulty with. For you, Pascal, like we can kind of go to the next question. What are, for you, what are the biggest challenges you see in 2024 to tackle? I know we went to your office yesterday, and efficiency was one of the things that you talked about, right? You tested a lot of partners in 2024. Now you want to make sure that you maximize the efficiency for partner. Is that something that you're really focusing on in the next year?
That will be the only the only thing we're gonna focus on. It will be all about efficiency. But I think like Kars was saying, like contextual targeting is becoming more and more important because we have less data on behavioral. So for example, it worked quite well when we move when we test creative, because the user, most of the conversion are coming from gaming, and so switching her creative to fit with the content of the user is really something important. So it's the main focus to really tackle that aspect. And the other one is like, I will say that we also have the omni-channel approach of something can be quite complicated. At Bubble, we have different, the performance marketing, we have different departments, influencer, paid social. So for advertisers starting to, leveraging this multi-channel approach to reach the user on every kind of step of the funnel journey.
Gotcha. And for you, Victoria, do you see the same, or do you have different things that you're focusing on for the next year?
Yes, we do see, apart from Pascal mentioned, we see something that maybe challenges, but also quite the opportunities for us will be something we already discussed about AI. I think the usage for us will be, like since last year, everyone was talking about using AI for creative production. This is definitely a big opportunity and definitely sounds tempting that you can, utilize less manpower, less cost for higher amount of deliverables. But I think whoever work with AI creative production definitely know that it's not that simple. You do definitely encounter some challenges, that how they incorporate into your existing workflow. How do you see the role of AI? Is that to give you new idea, or you are iterate your creatives with that? So this is something we see big potential, but it's also challenging, and we are moving forward. Another thing I'm thinking about definitely is MMM. That at UGA, we're also seeing that as our game, our title grows older, we also want to open up more upper funnel activities like brand awareness and so on. So in this case, the measurement, of course, come into a big challenge and big role. So when we are also kind of talking about efficiency, internally, we are also more cautious about incremental value, whether what we are seeing from MMP data, whether that can really stand for the contribution to the business. Yeah. And last, I will say it's about early purchase indicator. That is also something you just mentioned. Apart from AI, we are also utilizing, working with our data team, with our game team to understand what steps or what events or combination of behavior can really give you a sign that this is a valuable user. I think this is very useful not only for more precise targeting or to enrich your signals in your TCPA campaign, but also will be very helpful for you to build up your scan scheme, because basically they are the same effort, like to understand your user journey in a short time. How can you get enough signals and combination of behavior to define the early purchase signals? Yeah.
And I think maybe we can then transition directly to you, Jansu, for that MMM AI. Like for you at Adjust, that must also be a lot to kind of, how do you keep clients happy with all these different touch points? Everybody has a different custom fit. I know we work with Bubble and Wuga, completely different setups. Like how's that for Adjust, and how do you prioritize what to focus on?
So right now I'm not managing campaigns hands-on, but what I can share with you is I think I agree with Pascal. Everybody is trying to diversify their marketing channels, like connected TV. It's becoming big, rewarded apps. I think I'm coming from affiliate background, and I feel like incentive traffic is coming back. And so maybe next year, because they're going to be expanding online gaming as well. Right now, maybe just gaming companies, they're working with this like rewarded apps. But maybe they're expanding online gaming. We will see next year. But other than that, I'm going to make things a little bit more complex. But I believe in the upcoming years, like default ROAS, LTV metrics, it's not going to be sufficient. So right now, with this incrementality test, the test results delivered, they can calculate new effective LTV, effective ROAS metrics. And predictive metrics, it's always there. It's just a projection for day 14, day 30 LTV. So yes, things are becoming more complex, but it gives you a lot of more visibility, and it's opening a new ways for campaign optimization. So that's where we are going towards as well.
Let's say there's somebody in the audience here that just has launched their app or is starting to get into mobile marketing, and they're looking to get going. What would be your advice on this is a great way as a starting point to look at tracking, look at attribution?
I think the biggest mistake in the beginning, although there's no restriction, like you can add as much as in-app event you want, but implementing like 100 in-app events, it doesn't help to optimize. I think the most important point, just to identify what do you care about, how you are going to create your marketing strategy, how you are going to optimize it towards. So defining these key activities and start tracking with them, because you will have cleaner overview. So you will just start small and the basics, right? Like you need to be reaching that advanced level of basic KPIs, and then you can make it more complex with this predictive metrics or with this incrementality results. But if you're just starting small, promoting your app from the beginning, there will be few important KPIs you can optimize towards. So I would say keep it simple in the beginning, just to gain a better understanding for your mobile marketing strategy, and then you can make it more and more complex.
Thank you. And then I know for you, Karst, like you've been with Appier for 2 years, and I've seen you onboard multiple clients, from people that are very deep into performance marketing to people that are just starting out. Like, what do you see in 2024 that the real trends are for clients across the board?
Yeah, so also touching a bit on sort of like what was been said, I think both from Google point of view, but also from Unjust, I think what we still see, right? Because we're a performance marketing platform, so for us, it's all about driving performance. And with the accelerated growth, I think the challenge of incrementality has been always there. And I think just to also share a little bit more from my point of view there on working with clients, why it's a quite complex topic in general is that when you look at incrementality, it's one to define whether a channel is successful or not, but it's also has very much to do with your internal organization. And I think that's kind of a takeaway I would give is like take the time, especially when we started working with a lot of clients with incrementality, you do see that different stakeholders, whether it's data teams, your performance marketing teams, or even senior leadership, might have different views of how you look at incrementality. Because it's sometimes hard to say, is something 100% incrementality or still very incremental? And also what kind of KPIs define incrementality exactly? And I think that's why, again, I mentioned before, is Ghostbit was quite useful for us. So it's been really an effective way just to run small, quick tests on specific type of groups, which makes it very agile to make sure different stakeholders in the organization are all on the same board when it comes to incrementality. And once that's out of the window, right, then you can grow. So I think for Appier, that's been the main driver to go through this whole topic. Yeah.
Just one observation. Isn't it interesting? Like back then, non-gaming apps, they were just working with 2-3 traditional channels, right? And now they are trying to diversify it. And now gaming companies, they are talking about retargeting strategies. Like everything has shifted, I guess.
Yeah, maybe for you, Victoria, you entered the gaming space like over the last years with Wooga. Like, what is the change for you seeing coming from non-gaming to gaming? Like, was there anything different there, or?
I think first is definitely the way, like it's very dynamic in gaming. I would say it doesn't mean that non-gaming is less complicated. Yes, I would say one thing very different, of course, is monetization. That's in the non-gaming side. I think a lot of apps will work with subscription, in-app purchase heavy, and at least for the team I joined, for Wooga, that we also focus a lot on in-app purchase. But I also know that there will be other leverage, for example, in advertising. Also in gaming, there are also other ways, when you see any retention drop or anything that you can have live ops events, new feature launch, or mini games. There are so many ways to attract people. So I see that there are so many tactics. In the end, of course, we all want to drive the ROI. That's pretty much the same. But for non-gaming side, I can see that the competition is definitely very high. For one category, you have a lot of competitors. That is something I didn't experience either from educational apps and so on. So kind of you have to react very fast. You have to kind of try out new things, as we say, and also kind of leverage between different features or different hub points in your game.
Yeah, and Pascal, is there something that you haven't tried that you're really looking forward to trying in 2025? I know we talked a little bit about interactive ads or playable ads, but is there something that you say, hey, this is what I'm very curious about if it will work or not?
I think 2 years ago, we tried with Appier, we tested retargeting that we have been talking about that for quite some time now. We tested it for a few months, but we have some technical issue from Bible side. It's not our fault. It's not Adjust's fault. But no.
Shoot your shot.
No, it was our fault. We have some issue to really track the performance, and so we pause it. So until we solve that problem, normally it's supposed to be solved in the few weeks. We want to test it. We really want to try retargeting in the proper way. We also want to try new geo. So some geo that we didn't test it last year or this year, so it's on the pipeline. So definitely that these two retargeting is the main one.
Cool. And yeah, I know that we've also been working a little bit. Maybe you want to add to that as well.
Yes, I would say like retargeting has been always a topic for a long time. It's not just this year, but I also see the attitude or how we see it really change over time. So before, when like CPI, everything was normal, we do find okay, it's kind of optional whether to call back the old users. But when you see the CPI start to raise, and of course the question will be how can we utilize existing users, train users. So the kind of the attitude is kind of changing from whether we should do retargeting to how do we make it work. So we are kind of making a lot of effort on to choose the right segment of users and how to measure it, how to scale it up sustainably, and how do we kind of build a model together with our data team to understand, okay, where's opportunity and how can we make sure that we are not cannibalizing our organic users. Because in the end, when things are getting more difficult, your every investment, every activities will be very critical. And you always have to ask yourself, am I just buying my organic users who just went on a vacation, who will come back to your game anyway, or are you really adding value to the business?
Yeah, I think that's the feedback that we get a lot of times when we talk about re-engagement or retargeting is like, hey, am I just not spending the same money again? But I think with the space getting more convoluted, I think gaming has been a little bit difficult this year because the attention span is going to different types of apps. So I think in order for gaming advertisers to bring back their users, re-engagement, retargeting can be a strategy to kind of make sure that you're hitting the right user that is willing to play. But then it's just, as you said, like, where do we go? Who do we target? And what do we want to pay for it? Cool. Then I think we can go to kind of the last segment is, as I move my notes, is, how does a UA manager, 1 year now, 5 years now, excel at work? I know in the prep, Victoria, we talked about that right now you are touching more teams internally. There's a bigger collaboration with the product team, with the BI team versus maybe a couple of years ago, it was just the UA team, performance marketing team. Is that one of the biggest differences that you see over the next couple of years?
Yes, and I see that it actually is a nice change, regardless of the challenging time or not. I think this is how performance marketing is evolving slowly. I would say that it's important nowadays not to see performance marketer or UA managers as media buyer, because you are definitely not just purchasing, buying things. We should see ourselves more our growth role, regardless where you are sitting in your organization. Yeah, so what we are seeing is that it's getting very important to understand, okay, when you see any metric drop, any things that decline, to really, you have to kind of expand your area of attention, not just with your usual stakeholders, maybe data team, creative team, but to really kind of step out to product, to games team, to kind of really onboard each other, what I'm looking at, what is my metric, and what you are looking at. Maybe it's DAU, maybe different things, and where's your source of data? Is that from MMP, or are you using your backend data to really have a synergy and to kind of improve each other's metric together? Because in the end, like a feature launch or mini game, for example, of course, the impact will be firstly on UA, like how is the IPN looks like, how can we boost our new user acquisition. Yeah, so I see that to have the skill of seeing the whole picture, the holistic picture, and also when I think the past performance marketer might just look at, okay, how is my APA campaign, how is my Google campaign, and so on, that you report on the your usual ROI, but you really have to kind of challenge the data as well. When you start to have, okay, brand campaign running, you see very terrible ROI from the other side, but is that the real picture? So you have to kind of not only sit in your team, you have to see what really moved the needle for the business. Yeah.
And for you, Pascal, is that the same?
I totally agree with Victoria regarding like you have to really work with a lot of stakeholder, like the BI team, the creative team, to understand, because at the end of the day, on that performance marketing, we more or less know what the user want. I mean, I don't know if but I think we can talk to the product actually what we want what the improvement we want to see on the product to drive the user to convert, because we are performance marketing, so we are not we are in the lower funnel. So this is a key point, and also the technical part is also super important. I think understanding the tracking, understanding your MMP, if you can have. We were lucky that this year we have quite a lot of training with Adjust Account Manager, and because for someone like me, I'm still new to the app industry, so it's still a lot of learning, and it's changing all the time. So it's quite important. And I feel like sometimes when you look outside, performance marketing is quite of umbrella. A lot of different jobs. Like can have like influencer, paid social. You have the affiliate, the native, and everything. I don't necessarily think it's important to know all of this channel, but understanding how the synergy between different channel have impacted the user journey. It's important. It's something important to know.
And for you, Karst, like you kind of talk to UA managers every day. Like, what do you try to do now, and what you want to do to help them kind of be better at their job, or help them make it easier for them in 2025 and onwards?
Yeah, I love this question. I think it's actually also for me, but also just in general in Appier, this is very much a focus. We always try to really build super strong client relationships. And I think one of the key ways to do that is actually to make sure leadership is always happy. And it really depends on where your app is, in which states. Have you, for example, already, like Appier, tested programmatic? Is app fully new? And the reason it's so important is because often what I see at clients, we actually had 2 clients this year already that made a promotion because of starting to work with Appier, because of great performance, which is great, but it can also go the other way around. Because if you look at senior leadership, the most important thing is that you always over-deliver, right? It's the same in any kind of job, always over-deliver as a marketer. And the way we try to do it is initially in the campaign to really discuss with our clients, like, okay, what do we need to do, right, in terms of performance marketing to open a champagne bottle by the end of the year? It starts there, which is great. But then what often happens is once they see, oh, app, it's doing very well, right? Senior leadership sees like, hey, we're growing so much. Can't we double next month, right? So suddenly it goes very quickly, and then you get expectations which might be not fully realistic. So what I would advise you on is, first of all, is like to look after very sustainable growing campaigns. I think that's very important for marketing, because you will always over-deliver. You always exceed your targets. And second thing is just understanding very much in your organizations from the different stakeholders, right? What does success look like for them, and make sure that you share those insights. That's what we're trying to do as well a lot is, for example, if you compare, for example, how does your customer profile look like on Google or on any other channel, but how does it look for programmatic like at Appier, right? Which new kind of users are we actually tapping into? How do those users look like, right? Why is it that we actually drive so much better performance there and there? Like, if you're able to visualize that in a very efficient way and bring that back to the right stakeholder, we see so many people get promotions, but also really made huge success for an organization where, for example, a lot of where the revenue used to come from web just all moved to app, and now have been applauded internally. But it's that's very rewarding for my role, is to help those marketers get there. I would say.
Cool. And for Jansu, like, how is that question for you when you look at the UA marketeer and how they excel moving forward? Do they have to learn new things? How do they interact with Adjust? Are you guys, how do you see that?
I think the main challenge nowadays is just keeping up with all these changes and adapting ourselves to these rapid changes. But in general, attribution, it answers the fundamental question, right? Like, what's driving results, value? So without this visibility, the mobile marketers, they would have been blind, so they cannot make data-driven marketing decisions, they cannot optimize their campaigns, they cannot allocate their marketing budget. And now we are taking this to the next step and giving more visibility and helping them question, are they really bringing value in the midterm with this incrementality, and in the long term, yes, they are bringing value, but how would I allocate my marketing budget in the most efficient way in the next 12 months? So we are actually creating more question marks and bringing solutions together. But as Pascal mentioned, it requires a lot of trainings, working closely with your partners. Everything is changing super quickly. So you need a lot of hand-holding. You need someone to be there for you when you have a question, when you are having an issue. You need to react fast, right? Otherwise, you're going to just stay behind of this competition. So in general, yes, we are facing with lots of different challenges and changes, but it's also kind of the driving source for innovation in the market.
Cool. Yeah, I just checked and I think we're on time, so I don't think we have any time left for questions. But yeah, to sum up, I think that we have definitely some cool insights. I think the increase in different type of team stakeholders that we interact with is definitely going to grow. I think efficiency, incrementality has come up multiple times from different types of perspective. At Appier, we see that as well. We're constantly being challenged, like how can we make sure that every install, every purchase that we drive is an addition to something. As an AI company, I think we focus a lot on acquiring the right type of data. We're doing multiple tests with these partners here, but we're always trying to look at, how can we be something that is an addition to your marketing mix versus taking from it. So I want to thank everybody here at the panel for joining us. I know Pascal was super nervous. No, I'm kidding. I was super nervous.
I look nervous?
No, you look great. You look great. So
I'm so happy.
I want to thank Pascal, Victoria, Jansu, and Kosh for joining, and everybody for listening in. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And that was how top apps win at User Acquisition episode, featuring the discussion panel from the App Promotion Summit Berlin 2024. To listen to more episodes, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube podcast. Just search for Business of Apps and you will find us easily. Remember, we release episodes on Mondays, so subscribe and you will be able to get new episodes on your smartphone, tablet, or computer as soon as we release them. And please don't forget to leave us a review or comment on iTunes. It is highly appreciated. And all episodes will also be available on businessofapps.com. Thank you for listening. See you next week.